How did you go about helping this hotel brand make an extra 120 million Ugandan shillings in a period of just 6 months? In this video, I'll be breaking down the entire gameplay of what exactly did we do to make sure that this hotel brand every other month makes an extra 20 million out of what they were already making in the first place. I'm going to break down each and every one of the details that you need to know. And for those that don't know, my name is Kenneth Ntende, and over the past 10 years, all I have been doing is selling and helping brands within their sales processes. Because I've sold within Africa, Europe, and United States of America, it gives me the best context, the best understanding of what exactly needs to be done to help you grow your business brand. So let's get started. Now, in order to make an extra 10, 20, 30 million, whatever amount of money you're looking to make, the first thing you need to do is to kind of identify where your problem areas are. Without you understanding where your problem is, you're never going to make the next target that you want. So the first thing we did for this brand is to identify its core problem. So it had two main problems. In fact, there were three of them. Problem number one was in regards to management. What was the management team doing that could have been wrong? Now, problem number two was in regards to their sales team. What was their sales team doing wrong? And problem number three was in regards to their analytics. What I'm going to do through the course of this video, I'm just going to dive into each and every one of these, and I show you exactly how it was impacting them and what exactly we did to make sure that that problem literally goes away. So first things first, to start with, management. Now, when we broke down the problems the management had, we noticed the management team had just two main problems. Problem number one was a hiring problem. The truth is, they had recruited they had a team of about 5 young sales reps. Some of these were campusers, some of these were very new sales reps, meaning even when they were hiring, part of the team did not have anyone that knew how to do sales. Now, what is happening is you're an HR, you're a procurement manager, and you're a manager who none of you has ever done sales before, and you are the ones who are choosing to hire sales guys, meaning you don't even know the questions you need to ask them. And in so doing, it means you're not going to hire the best quality staff. Now, after they went ahead and hired, that's when I realized that honestly, some of these were very young children. Even them, they didn't know what to do when it came to sales. So that was problem number one. It was a challenge with their hiring. The second problem that the management team had was they also did not know the basics of what is supposed to happen in sales. I mean, what was happening is all they would do at the end of every meeting is, so tell us how much revenue have you made. It's okay to ask for how much revenue, but you'll get to notice that inside sales is a bit of a formula. It means A plus B equals to C. You asking for the result, which is the sales, is very good. But in order to get the best out of your team, you need to be tracking, do they understand the formula that they're supposed to be doing? How do they break this down in order to get C? Meaning you need to be tracking the meetings they're having, the number of phone calls they're having, how many tasks are they accomplishing, how is the follow-up being done. Instead of following and keeping track of that, they were mostly more fine-tuned towards what these guys are not delivering results. They're not delivering C. And in so doing, they are not even identifying where the problems might have been within the actual formula. To be honest, most of what the sales team was doing here was very wrong, but because their focus was here, they didn't even go ahead and fix the issues that the team had in the first place. So as a best practice, we went ahead. I kind of just helped them understand, man. You know what? Yes, you're not from the sales background, but you need to understand your money comes from within sales. So here's how sales works. Here's how you prospect. This is how you get leads. This is how the entire thing works, so that even they, as the management team, understood what is supposed to happen. And most importantly, it's easy to just say that I want a number 20, 30 million a month. Very easy to put it in terms of words. The harder question to answer is, what do I need to do to get to those numbers? And that's what exactly we did with the sales team, with the sales management team. We now had to break it down. Yes, we're looking for these figures, But in order to get these figures, how many leads are we talking to? How many meetings do we need? What is our success rate? What is our conversion rate? That is the first thing we did. You can't get to the top of the summit by chance. You have to know how exactly you're going to move that journey. And that was what we did with the management team and fixed their problems. Their issues was just a knowledge gap, which knowledge gap we filled as quickly as possible in one meeting. Now, the second category we needed to resolve was what the sales team was doing wrong. Keep in mind that this was a very young sales team, meaning they didn't truly understand how some of these processes work. The first thing I did is we drew down their pipeline. We started with, so tell me, how are you prospecting? They told me they went ahead, they got contacts from Google, got different numbers of the people they were selling. And from that conversation, I kind of got the idea they didn't even understand who they needed to be selling to in the first place. Now, before we get off this point, the first thing we did is refine that of let's understand who do we want, where does money flow from in the hotel space. Money comes from a few places. It comes from the tours and travel agencies because they're the ones who are receiving people from abroad and bringing them here, meaning we needed to be in their pockets. We needed to be their friends in order to get as much money as possible. The second category was the NGOs. Every once in a while, they have people flying into the country and talking to locals. And because those were the two main categories that brought business, we said, now, how do we get the most out of these people? Is Google the best place for us to get NGO contacts? Is it the best place for us to get tours and travel agencies? And we noticed it was not, because the numbers that were available were office numbers, which were not very helpful in the short run. So that was problem number one. Let's understand who we are selling to. And number two, where is the best place to get these contacts from? Because without you figuring out where you're going to get those contacts, relying on your own phone book doesn't make sense, because by the end of the second week, your contacts will be done. Now that's where the Tremby prospecting tool came in handy. We recommended, don't focus on using Google. Have a proper tool where if you want all the tours and travel agencies in the country, go there, they will give you contacts and you will never run out of contacts. So that was the first thing we resolved. When it came to these sales guys, the second thing we needed to resolve is the amount of input. How much work are you doing? As a default, the team, its default mode of selling was by cold calling. They just wanted to get as many numbers as possible and they make calls. So the second thing we needed to resolve is, after we figured out where you're going to get the contacts from now, how many calls are you making and what do you say within these phone conversations? To answer question number one, they were only making about 10 calls on some days when they were happy. That meant that the input was too little. Remember, this is a cold call. A cold call, a guy doesn't know you. Meaning, if you only do 10 of those 10, maybe you'll get one who is a bit interested, and even then, so the volume of calls needed to truly go up. Each of the sales reps needed to do about 50 calls a day in order to stand a chance of success. So that one was ironed out. And the second thing is we needed to also look through how their phone call conversation went. Because the way they were doing this is, as an example, my name is Kenneth from, I don't want to mention the hotel name for privacy's sake, but my name is Kenneth from ABC Hotel. I'm just using that as an example. Now, after the person mentioned, okay, so how may I be of help? The team members went direct into the pitch of, you know what, I'm calling in because I have this facility and the other facility, and we can also use our facility for this and this. They went direct into talking about their issues. They didn't give the recipient of the message any time to talk. After they've pitched and told them that we have this kind of facility for your people to stay and these conference halls, they went into requesting meetings. I mean, after I've told you about what I do, can I have a meeting with you so that we can talk about how we can do business together? From the surface of it, it doesn't look wrong because many salespeople do it the wrong way. They just don't know that it's being done the wrong way. In many of these cold calls, the first thing I have learned personally is you're winning if the person you're talking to is talking more than you. That is when you're winning. So what I recommended as a change for that is, step number one is introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. my name is so and so, because that was a very good step. Step number 2, instead of diving direct into trying to sell to the person, ask them something as basic. You know what? Are you having any conferences that are coming up later on in the year? A simple question, a question as basic as that. What we're trying to do is to understand if this person has that problem first before we pitch to them. Because there are going to be scenarios where you talk to someone and they genuinely don't have any conference. So you're asking them for a meeting, but because you haven't asked them if they have a problem, they have agreed to the meeting only for you to go for the meeting and they tell you, I don't need that. Or ask them, do you occasionally have tourists that are coming into the country and they need somewhere to stay? Those are the questions which get someone to say, either no or yes. Once they say that, okay, yes, I'm looking for some kind of conference space, that's now when you go into presenting your solution of the main reason I'm calling was because of this, that. We have these conference halls or we have this facility, whatever it is you're trying to push to them. But let it only come after you've given them a chance to talk about it. After that, go ahead and literally propose to meet them, but only after you have seen that this person needs your facilities. And the most important space, after that initial phone call, go and hold the meeting, but the meeting is only validated for the people that are interested or that have conferences coming up. That way you're cutting out a deal based on their success. Now, at that phase, all we were doing is just refining the pitch. Initially, the team, everyone was doing the call the way they wanted. I mean, they would wake up and depending on the mood that day, they would be happy. But standardizing that pitch means even when they wake you up in the morning, you already have a script you're following. It's very easy for you to make 50 phone calls, which is not the case when you don't really have that pitch in place. So we made sure that for those initial phone calls, the pitch is available. That was the second thing we did for the sales reps. The third component we needed to fix for the sales team was simple. How do you deal with these meetings? It looks obvious, as if once someone reaches the meeting, they're going to know what to do. But my friend, once you simulate those actual scenarios of now we're in the meeting, show me what exactly you would have done. You would notice that sales rep number 1 and sales rep number 6, they have different processes, some of which processes are the worst, they are wrong. Our job was, how do we standardize this process? When you get in, how do you manage it? What is your first introduction? Give them a best case. Of course, during the meeting, things are going to adjust, but why you standardize it is to let someone have a bit of a template to follow. But to be honest, at that phase, they didn't really have so many challenges. Where they had a bigger challenge was at category 4, the fourth thing we had to work on, which was the follow-up. I mean, after you've told someone what you do and the fact that you have a conference space, what is supposed to happen after that? What the team was doing is they would wake up, send one email, tell the person, these are the prices, if you want a quote, tell us. That was the end of the conversation. But keep in mind, you're having a conversation now, and this person has an event at the end of the year, probably the end of year retreat. So what is going to happen between now and then? Do you think you're the only one marketing to that customer? I don't think that is the case. Now, that is where they deployed the Tremby marketing automation tool. And what this marketing automation tool does is it keeps reinforcing this decision. It sends them several messages on WhatsApp, on email, on SMS, talking about what we had a conversation about. As an example, if you're talking to NGOs, send them more information about, here's why other NGOs are choosing to work at our given hotel. After another 2 weeks, send another success story. The role of this is to keep top of mind when it comes to the problem that you're trying to resolve for these people. That is the beauty about it. Most sales in the hotel space do not come because you've picked up the phone to call. No. Most sales are lost at the follow-up stage. And that was the one stage where they didn't really have any formula of how am I supposed to follow up with it. I personally believe in automation as much as possible, because if I'm talking to 50 people today, 50 tomorrow, by the end of the 3rd week, those are going to be so many people, I'm never going to remember them. So the goal was simple. How do we automate and automate and automate? And that's where they deployed our Tremby marketing automation tool. Its job is to keep sending reminders to both the customer they are talking to and even to them as the sales guys to remember to call a given customer. Now, so in a nutshell, those were the main changes that we implemented. And from what we noticed, they just moved from talking to 10 people a day to talking to 50. But by the end of the second week, those are a large number of people, because imagine there are 5 people, each of them talking to 50 people each. Those are 250 people a day. In 10 days, that's after 2 weeks, those are 2,500 people. Because you're engaging every 2,500 people continuously, it opens up opportunity. I mean, sales is a numbers game. If you walk up and talk to 10 people, opportunity is going to be this limited. You talk to 100, talk to 200. Even then, something breaks. All the time there's someone who is going to refer someone, simply because you're now in more people's faces. So in a nutshell, that is all that we did when it came to the sales team. Now, the final thing we did, we added what they call analytics. Analytics meant we are no longer tracking what results you've got in terms of sales, but we're focusing on, have you done the inputs that need the sales? So have you made the total phone calls? So there was now a CRM where the management team goes every day and checks, man, did you do your job today? But what is doing your job here? You've made the phone calls, you've scheduled the meetings, are they all in the system? That was all. And now, because of that oversight, they noticed that first month it wasn't that, but by the third month, the results had started to come in, more interests, they had started getting more partnerships with tours and travel agencies. By the end of the fourth month, they had almost 200 tour agencies working with them. And even if all the 200 just bring you one extra person a month, those are 200 people who are going to bring a lot more money, which point of thought they had never really thought about. So in a nutshell, that is what we did for them. They've deployed the Tremby artificial intelligence tool as well, to just target for them people who are in weddings and all these other modules, to just try and increase that volume. But what I wanted to share today is just how simple it is for you to implement strategies within yourselves, and just by implementing them, the impact it would have for you 6 months down the road. So if you're in the hotel space, feel free to copy this, and don't forget, I share a ton of content on sales and marketing. And if you're looking for a tool that can literally help you within your sales process, please check out Tremby.com. It's the best possible tool you can get. It will help you find leads. It will help you engage those leads. It will help you follow up. Everything to do with sales under one umbrella. That's all from me today, folks. Bye-bye for now.